mail 2 days ago from a population of Chenchus, somebody representing Chenchus. The Chenchu is a primitive tribal group in Andhra Pradesh. There were 35,000 people 1 decade ago. Today there are 15,000 people. It's a shame that we lost 50% of them. To what? To cancer? To any latest issues where we talk about? Nothing. It was malaria, it is diarrhea, it is something of that kind. So therefore the key question is, how do you create access? And we believe equity has 3 dimensions to it. You have to create access, first of all. Second, you have to create what we call availability and affordability. These are the 3 things. Affordability, accessibility, and availability. Something may be accessible, something may be affordable, but if it's not available to me when I need it, it's of no value. Therefore, the question for us is, anytime we design systems, can we look at these things to create equity? So I'll quickly go through, as I promised I will not spend much time on HMRI. We have just 2 services. Right now, we're building multiple other services. The first service was born when we did a survey in Hyderabad when there was a rampant chikungunya. My wife fell sick with chikungunya. And I picked up the phone and called Dr. Mastan Rao, who retired as the Director Health of Andhra Pradesh, asked him, what do I do? He just told me, Balaji, there's no cure for chikungunya. Give her paracetamol, let her sleep in the bed, 23/24. That was all. The only other cost that I spent was renting videos, paying my servant maid to see to it that she doesn't move out of the bed. Whereas we did a study of the slums of Hyderabad. On average, the slum dweller spent 1,500 rupees. Why? He spent because he know Dr. Mastan Rao available to him on phone. So we said, if that is available to Balaji, why can't it be available to the common man? That is how the health helpline was born 3 years ago. Today, so far, we have handled 4 crore calls since our existence. We started with a 40-seater. Today, we are a 430-seater. And we served almost 2 crore population who took services from us. What does it cost? For an 8 crore population per annum, it costs 27 crores. It's about 3 rupees per capita per annum. That's what it costs. What is the throughput? On an average, 15,000 to 20,000 people benefit from it every day. Technology innovation? Yes. Is it possible? How come this couldn't have been done 10 years ago, 15 years ago? These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. The other one, we have 475 vans which visit 22,205. Colleagues will correct me. Maybe it's 22,200 villages every month, and look at ANCs, PNCs, and those people suffering from chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, asthma, and a few epilepsy and a few other things, which are normally seen as the rich man's, urban man's diseases, but not the poor man's disease. But today, thanks to fertilizer, pesticide, everything else, even a poor man suffers of hypertension and diabetes. They're not even discovered. So, are we creating a threat to the private sector? I don't think so. We are identifying people who so far not been identified, probably reducing the burden on a potential insurance cost or a tertiary care cost later tomorrow for the state, for the country, by bringing them into the system much ahead of the time. And these are 42 million people out of the 65 million people in rural areas who are cut out. Do we have an urban solution? We do have. Maybe at a point of time, we'll find some partnership to work on the urban areas with the solution. Similarly, we believe that there are ways of solving the problem of telemedicine. We are working on that. We have done experiments on that. And I think we should be able to solve these people, the Chenchus problem, who live in extremely small hamlets on the hills, 10 homes, 15 homes. How do you reach them? What are the cost of reaching them? Somebody who's a bean counter might say, Balaji, it doesn't make sense for me to reach this person. But the question is, if the human life, tribal, is as valuable as the life of myself or my children, I think we should not ask a question, what does it cost to reach that person? Unfortunately, technology doesn't reach them. Out of the 22,000 villages that we serve, 49% of them do not have mobile connectivity. So my data comes back to 150 centers. Every day it is uploaded. I can show it to you on my mobile. All technology comes. So the question that I'm saying, technology for whom? Technology for what? Technology, how do you put it together? Together, if you can solve a problem, there we go. And with that, I'll quickly run you through at an illegal speed of 80 miles an hour my slides. My apologies for that. This we think are the problems that a village has. You have acute minor ailments which won't kill a person, but they bother a person. So they want some fix quickly. And there are women, because we believe, and we sold this idea of a small family norm to all people in the country today, whether poor or rich. Poor have bought it. After they bought it, it is our moral duty to protect the women, the mothers, and protect the children that are there around. If you don't do it, and I think we are ethically, morally, or whatever way, as a country or a society, we are wrong. So what do we do to do that is another question. Of course, there are catastrophic illnesses, accidents and stuff of that kind, chronic illnesses. So I'll move on this one. So what is the HMRI solution? I told you that we have a 24/7 health helpline which handles most of the acute mental illness and provides equity. We don't know who's calling us. Maybe a rich man, maybe a poor person. Maybe a woman in a village calling at 11 o'clock about her child who's suffering from diarrhea or whoever. We don't know who it is. So therefore the information that is given, irrespective of who's calling us, is the same. So there is equity there. No exploitation, no discrimination. So I'll just move on. We also have saved around 500 people from committing suicide. I keep cutting jokes with Venkat, saying that I'm reducing your business for EMRI because you don't have to send your vans, because they called me before they committed suicide and I counseled them not to commit suicide. We saved some people there. So let's move on from there. And this is what triaging system that we have, which is a computer-based algorithms that we have. Let's move on from that. One of the key things that we looked at is do not reinvent the wheel. This country does not need any more innovation. We have enough innovation. We need the political will to execute well. That's all. We have enough money, enough technology, everything is there. But like they say in Andhra, Anni unnaiga nalludlotlo shani undi. Everything is there, but the son-in-law has the shani, which is the goddess of ill fortune in the mouth. I don't know what is wrong with us. But I think we have everything that we need in this country. So can we go about what is there? And I think the government has done a fantastic job in terms of laying out a beautiful architecture. The question is, how do you leverage those? There's no point in showing fingers, like they say in Hyderabadi, acha karto main bura karta Abdullah kinds. Let's not point fingers at each other. The point is, they have their own constraints. The government has, when I started working with the government, I know how many constraints they work under. There could be political pressures, there could be budget constraints, there could be a million other things. But the question is, with the constraints, can we come up with a good, smart way of getting things done? We found public not-for-profit private partnership is a smart way of doing this. Even if a good bureaucrat is not there any longer, since we are a special purpose vehicle, we'll continue the mission irrespective. We don't have to wait for a new person coming up with a new idea. We'll always integrate and work on that. So that is the power of working on these models. So I'll move on here. I'll not talk about, there are medical advice and a bunch of services that we give there. Those of you who want to know more about us, hmri.in, www, you can do that. You'll get the information. Just one thing that I want to talk about is the scope of the platform that can be created. Like they say, almost information technology guys say, think big, start small, scale fast. Our model is do a proof of concept first with our money, do a small pilot with our money. Once it works, then we take it to the government or anybody, any philanthropist or whoever is interested in building that and scaling it all the way. So that's what we have done in AP. And we're happy to share with you that the Assam government thought this is of some value. So in a short while, we're going to start a health line for the Assam government as we go. I'm not saying there aren't other models are good, bad, ugly, none of them. I'm not saying private sector should not make money, none of them. The question that I'm saying, end of the day, whatever technological choices we're making today should not add to the transactional cost per patient as we go further. The choices we make today, is it open source or is it a private vendor? Is it cloud computing or something else? End of the day, the question is,